Welcome to the Energetic Psyche, Season 3, Episode 3. Why New Year's resolutions fail, and why winter isn't the time for big change. I'm Dr. Adrian Campbell, and I'm really glad you're here. So right about now is when most people let their New Year's resolutions slide. And when I say most people, we're talking about 80%, which is kind of wild, right? So what's the deal? Why do so many people struggle to stick to their New Year's resolutions? Well, it isn't what you choose to change, it's when. We've been conditioned to create change at the beginning of the new calendar year. The cultural conditioning is so strong that the behavior is actually considered a cultural norm. It isn't, are you setting New Year's resolutions? It's, what goals are you setting this year? I started questioning this myself a couple years ago when I really began paying attention to my body. Specifically how my body experiences the world around me, including seasonal changes. What I noticed is that in winter, I just really want to hibernate. From about the end of November all the way until March, I would just want to curl up in a bundle of blankets in front of the fire with a warm, steamy beverage, a book, and my dogs. Now, of course, noticing this is the first step. But even with that realization, there were still the expectations to attend countless holiday events, plan and exchange gifts, reflect on the past year, and then come up with a plan to kickstart the new one, right? Not to mention, as a coach and a speaker, there's a lot of professional pressure to have a program ready to go in early January, to bring on new clients, schedule speaking engagements, and map out the year ahead. Well, I don't know about you, but the idea of all of that sounds exhausting to me right now. Exciting, but exhausting, because it's winter. The whole natural world rests during this time of year. Human beings have pushed ourselves so far away from nature that we've cognitively forgotten this, but our bodies have not. Winter isn't the best time to force big change. It's a season for rest, reflection, and gently preparing for sustainable growth in spring. When we ignore the body's need for rest, we experience physiological and somatic stress. When that happens, we tend to get sick more often, our sleep suffers, our aches and pains increase, and we often mistakenly chalk it up to the weather. But winter is more than just the changes to the weather. So a couple of years ago, I decided to try something different. Nowadays, I use my winter months to reflect, gather information, and work on creative projects. I create a loose layout for the year ahead and acknowledge that these are slower months for me and for my business. I cut back on hosting both personal and professional events in December and January, and instead I use the time to do deeply creative work that I love. Now, going into my third year of this approach, I can say that I'm finally getting the hang of it, though it still takes effort to resist the cultural pressure of forced change. I'm also starting to see more people embracing this adjustment, which feels like a pretty meaningful shift in our culture. If this idea resonates, I encourage you to consider what changes might help you better support yourself during this winter. What is your body craving right now? What would actually make you feel taken care of? You might not be able to change everything. Our lives and responsibilities often pull us away from our own natural rhythms. But what are the 1 or 2 small shifts you could make to invite just a little more rest, a little more comfort? And as for your resolutions, it's okay to put them down for another month or 2. What I recommend is taking time to reflect on your life, the changes you want to make, and what start date would actually support you best. If it's now, great, you got this. And if not, that's great too. You get to do you. Personally, like I've mentioned, I don't believe winter is the time for forcing change or big restarts. It's a time for awareness, reflection, and gentle preparation. And even my start dates reflect this. For those who feel ready as winter begins as thaw, I have a short 3-hour program, Reset and Rise, that begins at the end of January as an embodied, reflective, coming together preparation for spring. But for those looking to do deep and significant work, my main coaching program, Power, Presence, and Flow, doesn't start until March, the weekend after the official first day of spring, in fact. What I want you to remember is you don't have to force momentum. You don't have to rush clarity. You have permission to move at the pace your body is asking for, even when the world insists otherwise. In this episode, I'm going to walk you through a brief practice in turning inwards, a practice in embodied listening. For the next few minutes, I will guide you through a gentle breathing exercise and then through a few prompts for you to follow, directing your attention inwards. It is recommended that you go into this practice in a space where you feel comfortable enough to close your eyes or lower your gaze and allow yourself to turn your attention fully inward. If you're busy, driving, or generally out and about, please feel free to listen along, but come back for the full experience at a later time. Now, allow your eyes to close, or you may simply lower your gaze, whatever is most comfortable for you in this moment. We're going to begin by just noticing the breath. Noticing the inhale, noticing the exhale. We're not trying to change anything, we're just noticing. Notice the air coming in through your nostrils, your sinuses, down the throat, into the lungs. And notice the exhale. Notice the differences in the nose, the sinuses, the throat, the lungs, between the inhale and the exhale. Now begin to deepen the inhale. Maybe you notice the chest begin to rise, the belly begin to rise, and maybe you notice them fall on the exhale. Continue with the deep inhale and begin to allow your exhale to lengthen. Nice, deep inhale, slow, extended exhale. And we'll breathe like this for just a few moments. Nice, deep inhale, slow, extended exhale. Now release any control over your breathing and return to the natural breath. Allow your awareness to focus in on the left foot. Just notice into your left foot just for a moment and any sensations you feel in your left foot. Is it warm or cold? Is there any pressure? If you flex or move the foot in any way, how does that shift or change the sensations? Now move your awareness up into your left ankle, noticing into any sensations there. And no judgment here, not trying to change anything, we're just noticing. And then allow your awareness to move up into your left calf, left shin, your left knee, left thigh, your left glute and hip. And then moving down into the right foot, noticing any sensations there. The right ankle, the right calf and shin, just noticing what we're noticing. The right knee, thigh, glute, and hip. Noticing into your lower abdomen, your mid-abdomen, your upper abdomen, the chest, the upper back, mid-back, and lower back. And then allowing your awareness to move into the left shoulder, the left upper arm, elbow, forearm, your left wrist, left hand, and fingers. And then moving into the right shoulder, the right upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, hand, and fingers. And then noticing into the neck, back of the head, the top of the head, the sides of the head, the face, the lips, the nose, the cheeks, the eyes, the forehead, the ears. Noticing into the entire body from the top of the head all the way down to your toes. Notice how your entire body is feeling in this moment. Is there anything it's asking of you? Anything that it needs? What could you do for your body to make it just 5% more comfortable in this moment? Something simple, maybe a wiggle, a body adjustment, a deep breath, or a cough. Go ahead and do that. Take a moment and make whatever adjustment you need to feel just 5% more comfortable in this moment. Now, sensing back into the body, notice if there's anything your body is asking for that might take a little more effort, maybe a little more time. And what if it wasn't just about comfort, but maybe satisfaction or joy, stability, grounding? What would it take for your body to experience that? Now, I want to invite you to take a moment and just imagine that you've taken the action that your body requested. You've done what was needed. Imagine what it would feel like in your body, what the experience would be like for you, mind, body, and soul. Now release the image. Feel yourself coming back fully into your body here in the present moment. You may wiggle your fingers, your toes, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Now I encourage you to take a few moments and reflect on this experience. Maybe do some journaling, and know that you can come back and repeat this practice whenever you need to. If the body asks you for something, how can you make that happen? What needs to shift or change to accommodate it? Remember to be patient and gentle with yourself through this process. Thank you so much for joining me, and please remember to take care of yourself. If this podcast resonates with you, please be sure to subscribe, follow along, so you can be notified of future episodes. I look forward to connecting in the future.